Hello friends, I am Kapil. So today I am going to talk about guest check-in in the hotel. So what is check-in? In simple words, check-in means is the process of guest registration in the hotel for their stay that is usually carried out in the hotel lobby or in the reception desk by the receptionist or the front desk assistant. Now, the check-in is one of the important step in the guest cycle. This is because, like the guest, when they arrive in the hotel, they will come in contact with the hotel staff, and now this impression where the guest gets from the hotel. And in hospitality industry, we say like first impression is the lasting impression, and this is where the guest gets the first impression of the hotel. And if the check-in is very good or check-in is done in an excellent manner, then the guest will have a pleasant stay. So the first impression will be the lasting impression for the guest. And therefore, due to this, the hotel will be getting a good reviews from the guest if they have the pleasant stay in the hotel. And now check-in slightly differs from property to property according to their standard operating procedure. And in general, I'm going to talk about few steps or the procedure that all the hotels follow while doing the check-in. First of all, meet and greet the guest. The first step is meet and greet the guest. Now, this means when the guest arrives in the hotel, the doorman or the bellboy who is outside the hotel opens the guest car's door, then meet the guest and greet the guest according to the standard greetings that the particular hotel follows. And then they escort the guest to the hotel lobby for the further process. And in the lobby, the guest will meet the guest relation team ready to welcome the guest. And the guest relation team there offer like the scarf or like garland according to the hotel standard and welcome the guest by greeting with the standard greeting that the hotel follows. And then the guest is ready to proceed for the check-in. Then the guest goes to the reception desk and the step 2 comes. Now the step 2 is identification of guest. Now the receptionist who is there in the reception identifies the guest, whether the guest have the confirmed reservation with the hotel or whether the guest is seeking for an accommodation, whether the guest is looking for something else, or whether the guest is having a tentative reservation. Then accordingly, if the guest have confirmed reservation, then the guest will be moved to the lobby for the check-in, else they will do the check-in in the reception desk. Then the receptionist asks the guest for the particular documents like passport or visa, identity card, and so on that is required for their documentation. And the third process starts. The third process is registration. Now when it comes to registration, the receptionist or the front desk assistant goes to the guest with a pre-filled guest registration card and reconfirm the guest details and their stay, their packages, the meal plans, the mode of payment, everything else, the membership type that the hotel follows or the property or brand follows, and just the registration formalities. And the most important thing in the registration process is the agreement or a conclusion that the hotel staff and the guest come into. Now, the hotel staff agrees to follow or agrees to provide the guest with product and services that the hotel have. And in return, the guest agrees to pay for the services that the hotel provides. And therefore, the guest signs on the registration card as well as the receptionist who does the check-in. And therefore, they come into a conclusion in the end. And the next step is now room assignment. Now in this step, it means that the guest have requested for particular category of room, a particular bed type. So the receptionist will look for that room or it might be a pre-assigned room, and cut a key for the guest. Meanwhile, the guest will sit in the lobby and have a welcome drink or cool or warm towel to refresh themselves, and the receptionist hands over the key to the room key to the guest. And then the next steps comes the familiarization. Now in these steps, the receptionist along with the guest walks around the hotel for a while, showcasing our products, services, and familiarizing the guest with different outlets, their timings and all, so that the guest will not have problem finding out later on. And then the guest is escorted to the room. Now the receptionist takes the guest to the room and does the room orientation and familiarizes the guest with the room facilities and services that the hotel provides, and the important things that the receptionist has to mention to the guest in order to follow in the room, like the safety instruction and all. And lastly, in the last step, the bellboy or the porter, they will deliver the guest luggage to the room, and along with bellboy and the reception staff, they will wish a pleasant stay to the guest, comes to the front desk and do the update of the guest profile or do the front office records. This is the simple process of guest registration or guest check-in in the hotel. Thank you.